Alright guys, so here we are. We've talked about a lot of things so far, and we're about to get to my absolute favorite part of the entire program at this point, which is link building. So, we've gone over our campaigns, we set up our bonsai tree campaign, we added our landers, we threw some comparables in there, we got our keyword ideas, we went over the keywords and what target values do and things like that, how to pause campaigns, how to turn them back on, different stuff. We went over the on-page SEO tab and how it gives you little suggestions for how to make your pages better. And now we are finally going to move on to the link building tab. Now, the link building tab is where all the magic happens. It's once you've decided that your campaigns are set up and they're ready to get some links built to them, then you click on tab number 3. Now, I love the link building tab because it's kind of like link building all of my life was never in a tab. It was always like this big thing. It's always like the biggest challenge of any SEO is how do you build your links. I mean, people give entire seminars, entire week-long courses on how to build links the right way, the most creatively and things like that. And at this point, we feel that we've done a really, really good job of automating the hell out of it to such an extent that we don't really, for the most part, do manual link building at all anymore. We just use this. And so it's pretty ridiculous, and we'd like to get you guys doing the same, seeing the same kind of results that we get from the same kind of amazing automated set it and forget it system. So let's get started. The first tab you have here is service allocation. Now, you notice it says we are not currently building new links because all of your campaigns are paused. Change this on the campaigns tab. So, you want to go and, well, first you want to allocate all of your links and stuff like that. So, we're going to go through this stuff, and then you're going to go back and make sure that all your campaigns are totally set up and ready to go. And then you can go and turn your campaigns on, as I showed you before, from the paused state. But, for right now, we're just going to ignore that red sign here. Okay, so it tells you how many link building credits your plan comes with and what your current balance is here. This is a test account, so it just happens to have 10,000 link building credits in here. And it says you're currently having us allocate your link building credits based on what we think is the best overall mix of links, autopilot mode. We are also including a good amount of backlink indexing in the mix based on our research that it dramatically helps your link building. If we integrate new services, we will add them into the mix automatically. The table below shows your current allocations. So, what do all of these things mean? Well, they're all different types of backlinks. So back in the day, we used to do all sorts of different things to build backlinks. First, when we first started in SEO, when I was back in college, me and my business partner would sit around writing articles and submitting them by hand to article directories, because that's what we had read about on the Warrior Forum, on warriorforum.com, and that's what we thought was the best way that we knew how to build links. Now that's obviously really time consuming. I mean, if you have to sit down and take 20 minutes to write out an article and then submit it to an article directory just so that you can get one link, that takes a long time. You are not going to get very many links. But you know what? We did that and it actually worked. It worked pretty well. It worked well enough to start getting us some sales. So that was cool. Then, next after that, we discovered these things called Angela's and Paul's backlinks, which were basically just a list of blogs and news sites and different places where you could get a backlink just by creating a profile on there. So like, you know how CNN.com, you can go on there and you can create a profile and then you can comment on stories and different forums. You get your own profile and sometimes it has a space for a URL and things like that. Well, these are all like profile backlinks. So we've lumped all of those types of links into the term profile links. And they're really, at this point, the most efficient and fastest way to get backlinks. So back in the day, we used to build those by hand. We thought it was awesome. Rather than writing an article and submitting it, we could just go and create a profile on a website, which took about 30 seconds, and put our link in there. That was ridiculous. Another really quick thing that we learned to do were directory submissions. So there are these directories out there on the internet where you can just submit your website and say, hey, I've got a website about gardening or something like that. You go to the gardening category and you submit your site, and they're friendly enough to put a link back to your website on there. Awesome. Directory submissions is another thing on top of profile links. Now, at some point, we decided, wow, why are we building these links? Instead, we can hire guys from the Philippines, pay them $350 a month, which is actually a really good salary for them, and have them just build these links all day long. For $350 a month, that's great. We get, who knows, maybe 50 or more backlinks that they built by hand every single day. So at the end of a month, at best, you're getting maybe 1,000 backlinks, something like that. However, these guys kind of get tired and stuff like that. So really, it turns out to be less than that. But hey, back in the day, you pay $350 and you get 1,000 backlinks that were built by hand. That's pretty awesome. Then at some point, we realized that we could use programs to do this. We could use SIG-Submitter, we could use Scrapebox, and different things like that, SE Nuke, where we could be sitting in front of these programs and watching them build links. And that was awesome. Where we could have our outsourcers sit in front of them and watch them build links. And that was awesome. But then, after a while, we found this program called XRumor, which was just insane. XRumor just blows them away. It's way faster than anything. And we realized, wow, we could just have a server running XRumor, and that builds tons and tons of links. But then we realized, damn, this XRumor server breaks down all the time. Like, it's just buggy software. Every other day, we've got to figure out why it stopped running. We've got to stop our day, stop making phone calls, stop building new websites, stop doing whatever we're doing, and go and try and fix this stupid thing. And so we're like, man, it's still not really like a perfect solution. And finally, we came to terms with the fact that the best way to do things is to just pay link building services to do it for you. It's simple. I mean, these guys have scale. They sit around all day running XRumor and building profile links and doing building blog comments with Scrapebox and other programs and things like that. And they don't even charge that much of a markup. It's kind of incredible. So we were like, screw this. Why are we running all of these programs ourselves when we could just pay other people to do it for us? And then we can focus on all these other pieces of our business. And we only have to pay like a couple $100 a month. And these guys, like less than, like we used to pay an outsourcer $350 just to build links by hand. Now we can pay somebody else and have them just blasting out links all month. So it's like, you know what? I mean, this is just, it's ridiculous just for link building. So at this point, that's the backstory. That's the evolution of how link building went from an an all-time consuming monster to a tab in Link Emperor. And it's pretty awesome now that it's a tab and we don't really have to bother with it. We set up the percentage allocations and that's it. So that's what these are. Percentage allocations of which types of links we'd like to build. We've got forum profile backlinks, just as I said, profile links via backlinksgenie.com. We've also got forum profile links via dripfeedblast.com. We've got backlinks indexer. Well, actually, I didn't talk about indexing yet. Well, hold on. So let me show you first off. This is the default allocation. This is what we recommend. We think it makes a lot of sense in terms of getting a diverse link portfolio. You want to have a lot of different types of links. Obviously, profile links are the easiest to get, and they're also the cheapest, so that's why it makes sense to take a ton of profile links. As you can see, we've got 16% and 8%, so that's 24% of our default allocation we have in profile links. But we also think it's good to take advantage of some other ones, such as social bookmarking, web directory submissions, profile link wheels, which is just like it's like profile links, only they turn them into like a wheel formation, so it's supposed to be a little bit more effective, as well as blog comments. Now, if you want to change these, you can. Just click on Change Allocation. Finally, first I should explain what indexing is. Indexing is basically the idea that you want Google to find your links, otherwise they don't count. right? Because if Google can't find your link and doesn't know that it's there, then in essence it doesn't exist because it's not helping you rank, right? So you can be out there blasting out all these profile links, but Google is not necessarily finding and indexing or adding to their index all of these profiles that you build. So what indexers do is they build links to your links. So they create other backlinks over here that point over towards your backlinks and hopefully get them noticed. They also pass PageRank. So we think that they make your links that you built through your profile links or whatever more effective because they're stronger links because other pages are pointing at them as well. So then now you've got like a multiple tiered system that's pointing over towards your website. It's really awesome because in the past, XRumor or these other profile link builders, they get indexed maybe somewhere around 10%. I mean, that's like 10% of those links that are built are getting indexed. And then we found that if you run them through an indexer, they get indexed as high as like 40% or more because these indexers just keep building links to them until they notice that they've gotten indexed. So it's awesome. It's like you have like a nanny to keep track of all of these links that you built and actually make sure that they're doing something for you. It's something that is a real pain to try and manage yourself because nobody wants to manage thousands of links and actually check and see in Google whether or not they get indexed. But these indexers do that job for you. So the greatest part about this whole system is that you've got all these links, but then you've also got the indexing, which is just like the nanny that like takes care of everything and makes it all work. So we allocate half of our credits by default towards indexing because it's really important. It's a leverager. It makes way more of your links count than just by building brute force new links. So anyway, that's what the whole system is. This is the basic allocation of what we suggest. If you want to change it, you can click there and you can go to autopilot but link building only with no indexing. We don't recommend that, obviously, as I said, but it's a pretty, some people for whatever reason don't feel like doing the indexing because it does take a lot of credits. So if you want to spend all of your credits towards building links or you want to just get the cheapest links, then just go for straight profile links, and you can do that. Or you can go to custom, and then it actually explains what each of these different things does. So the one thing I didn't explain was auto backlinks. These are sites like search engines or misconfigured sites that will include a link to your site just by including it as a part of the URL. So what does that mean? That basically means that we visit a page on somebody else's site and add a little URL to the end of it that's our URL, and that creates a link to our site. And it's a little bit of a hacky, gimmicky thing, but it works. And if you index them, then it really works. So it's a quick thing that Link Emperor does by itself. It's not through any other service. It's just something that's really quick for Link Emperor to run through, create those links, and then index them. So that's a cool thing that you get automatically if Backlinks Indexer is on. Then you've got forum profile links, as I explained, Backlinks Indexer, blog comments. This explains everything. So I mean, you can read it if you want to. But if you want to change your allocations around, this is the tab, and this is where you go. Alright, so long story short, that is the service allocation tab. Next, we've got campaign allocation. Now, this is a tab that we created mostly for just because of requests that we received. We actually would never set this up ourselves. Basically, this means that if you click on this button, you can blast all of your campaigns separately rather than blasting them together. Now, what that means is that each profile that you build can have more than one backlink on it. So like you can have a profile on CNN.com and you might be able to say my website is this and then throw another link into like another paragraph on that page or something. So these programs are good at doing that, and if you want to do that, then that's awesome because now you're getting two links for one profile, and it's a good deal, and you're also like mixing up the number of pages and URLs that are linking to you. But we think that it's not really the greatest thing. Now, the good thing, though, about this is that if you have clients or somebody who you want to be able to show your backlinks to, and you want to make it look like you're only building backlinks to their stuff, you're not mixing them in with other clients, then you can do this, and you can make it so that backlinks or each profile that is built to their site is only linking to their sites. So that way, you know, they can look at it and they don't see anybody else's weird niche website getting linked to from there as well. Now, the reason why you most likely wouldn't want to use this by default is because these blasts often have totally different URLs, as I said, from one blast to the next. Now, the general consensus is that you want more URLs linking to each of your sites in order to get to a more diversified link portfolio. Now, these blasts will often put more than one link on each profile page. So if your campaigns only have one domain in there, then you're going to be getting 2 links from the same profile to the same URL of yours. Now, maybe they're different landers, but it's most likely not benefiting you as much as if you were able to have the same profile linking out to 2 different URLs, and so both of those URLs would get credit for being linked to from another new domain. Now, in aggregate, over the course of a number of blasts, this can mean a big difference between whether your sites each have 10,000 versus something like 13,000 unique URLs linking to them. It would be almost impossible to know the precise ratio, but it's probably something along those lines. But again, if you're serious about keeping your link portfolio separated out for whatever reason, presumably because you have some clients that might not want to be lumped together, then it is an option. But really it only makes sense for the higher plans, because if you were using this with one of the lower plans that only get a certain number of blasts per month, if you had a lot of campaigns, it would be a long while in between those blasts for each campaign. So just think it through before you enable this option. Alright, now on to the next one. Completed blasts. We don't have any completed blasts on this account because everything's been paused and we just created this whole thing. So we haven't actually built any links to anything. But on here, what it would have is a list of the blasts that you would have gotten. It's got the date, it's got what type of links they were, it's got what campaign it's pointing to, and the number of links that were built. And then you can also click on these and it'll download the number of links, and you can actually see which links were specifically built to your pages and check and make sure that the links were actually there, that the anchor text is right, and everything else. And finally, credit transactions is this is basically like your accounting page. It shows you how many link building credits you have. Now, this is a test account, so it has 10,000 automatic credits that were allocated to it. However, as links get built, it'll show you like minus 25 credits here for like indexing or something, or like minus 1,000 credits for a profile link blast or something like that. So here's where you can just kind of keep track of your accounting. And then finally there's a networks tab, but that's for another video series about building link networks. So I hope that kind of explained everything. I know it's a little bit confusing, but if you have any questions, just send us an email at info@linkemperor.com. Thanks a lot, guys.